not single-handedly, but we are, and I am part of Space Concordia. And I'm the president of Space Concordia. My name is Melise, and I will be taking you through a trip of what we are. So for our agenda, it's pretty obvious. I'll be explaining what our society is, all of our different divisions, and I will be letting you know about our upcoming info session. So who are we? Space Concordia is an interdisciplinary society made out of over 200 students. Originally, Space Concordia was mostly engineering, but now we're starting to get a lot of members from different faculties. So I myself am a physics student that's doing a minor in software engineering, but mostly a physics student. And we have fine arts students, and essentially we try to all work together to make space as appealing and as accessible as possible. We do this via many different projects, public talks, outreach, and social media. So the first division I want to talk to you about is Space Health. Space Health is a new division to Space Concordia, and we do a lot of really cool things. Currently, Space Health is working on 2 projects. So they're working on a fluid dynamic of microfluidics lab on a chip experiment that will be on the payload on the Rocketry's rocket that's going to be launched soon. Essentially, they are going to be testing whether like how cells receive nutrients in a microgravity environment, as well as a couple of students are working on their thesis, which is going to be research based around heart flow. So essentially, the sensation that you get when you stand up too quickly, when you get kind of dizzy, that sensation is extremely amplified for people that are in the ISS for too long. So when they get back on Earth, suddenly they go through like they can't see. They have to actually be rehabilitated to get used to just generally fluid flowing the way it used to all over again. So we're doing research on that process to see if we could help out. The next division is robotics. Robotics is our third, or like our second newest division, not too new, but it's been around since about 2015. And currently the robotics division is working on the Mars rover. Its name is Astro. It competed last year at the European rover competition in Poland, and it placed 10th in the world, at least at that competition. And currently they are submitting the same rover to be in the ERC, which is about to start, I think, next week. But they still have a lot of plans. This is their current device that they want to use, and they just keep on testing it and doing tweaks to it. It has a really good infrastructure, so they just keep on onboarding new technologies into it. Specifically, this one's really great because it does spectrometry on board, and it can test soil samples to see if the soil samples are able to sustain life. Rocketry, it's our second or third newest one. It's been around since 2015 as well. And displayed in this picture is our rocket Super So Nice from 2 years ago. Super So Nice placed first place in IREC, which is the Intercollegiate Rocket Engineering Competition. And yeah, it was scored first place in 2 different divisions. So we kind of dominated that competition. But currently, Rocketry's big project that we've been working on for the last 2 years and is soon to be wrapping up, it still needs a lot of people, is going to the Kármán line rocket. So this rocket will be the first in civilian history to reach the Kármán line, which is the boundary between space and Earth. And the prize for if we are the first university to go ahead and do this is $1 million. Woohoo! It's been a lot of work, a lot of money, and we still really need people. So yeah, there's no information gap if you want to learn. The whole society wants to take you. And Last but not least, we have SC Spacecraft. So that is our spacecraft division, the oldest one. It's actually what founded Space Concordia in the first place. Initially, it was a project that a professor got us involved in, and then we just ended up making a division out of it. This is our old satellite named Alexander, and Alexander got a lot of attention. So now Alexander was able to secure Space Concordia a contract with the Canadian Space Agency. So currently Spacecraft is working on a satellite to be launched with the CSA, I believe, next year. And yeah, so Concordia gets to have its first satellite that has, put us on the map and stuff. And will you be there? So essentially, we are going to be having an info session on September 14th from 7 to 8 p.m. So right here is the QR code. If you're on your phone or any sort of device, this will just be the link that puts you into our Microsoft Teams. So if you are interested, go ahead and save this, screenshot this so that you can go ahead and access it later. But otherwise, we will be advertising the event very soon. So yeah, we hope that you can be there. And if anybody has any questions for me, I'm more than happy to take them. I'm a very speedy talker, so I think I went way early, but yeah.
I could ask you a question. As you mentioned, you mentioned you're competing in Base 11. Seems amazing. $1 million, a lot of money. First amateur association across the Kármán line. Can you tell us about how the school is going about that, what the state of that competition is, and pretty much how new students, considering that the semester is going to be online, how could they be involved in that?
Yeah, so currently I know that Rocketry had a meeting with Base 11 because I believe that Base 11 themselves wanted to consult with all the different teams that are still enrolled in the competition to see how's progress going. Currently, Space Concordia's Rocketry team has actually holed up and done a self-quarantine in Sherbrooke. So they are still working on the rocket 24/7. We were able to extract all of our materials out of Concordia's facilities. So yeah, everything's still going very smoothly. I would probably say more so since they're actually surrounded by the rocket 24/7. So there's really no reason to say that I can't come and work on it. But if a student does want to get involved, a lot of students are still helping with different processes right now. So specifically flight performance is a very I guess hands-off approach to working. So let's say if you want to join the flight performance team, which works on the flight analysis and the trajectories and figuring out what's the likelihood that it's going to explode, etc. That can all be done from home, just using a bunch of softwares that we use. So that's still very accessible, as well as anything else that just requires rendering. A lot of time and work goes into just doing SolidWorks, and you don't really need to be staring at the rocket to do SolidWorks. So we still have a lot of work for people to do regardless.
Great. So you're saying it's requires to be, if I want to participate as a new student, if I want to join space, whether it's in rocketry, spacecraft, health, you mentioned that you use different softwares for things like flight performance, you use SolidWorks. Do I, as a new student, need to know those going in? Could I be a new student from year 0 going in to want to get involved with you guys?
No, that's always been the beauty of the society, is that we very much foster and want to nurture people that are very interested, no matter what your skill level is. So we do offer a bunch of tutorials on different software, and let's say if your team lead isn't necessarily able to do a training with you, we will still give you all the resources that you need to go ahead and pick up the softwares on your own.
Awesome. Super cool. And yeah, so I know you mentioned too, so I'm asking a lot of questions because I know a lot of students might have these questions as well, and they may not they might not want to ask them publicly. So I'm just asking, I guess, on their behalf. So you mentioned obviously Rocketry is doing Base 11. What are some of the other competitions in your other branches? So say spacecraft, the health, things like that. What are the competitions and conferences you guys might go to?
Yeah. So Currently, robotics is about to be at URC, not URC, ERC. Last year they were part of URC, but I believe that URC may have been canceled due to everything, but I know for sure ERC is still going on, so that's the European Rover Challenge. As for the next step, I think they're currently now analyzing to see what's the next best step. Since robotics was also able to get the rover out off of campus, they're still able to work on it. So it's very feasible for them to actually plan what the next competition is, since they still very much have access to everything. Currently, Spacecraft isn't in a competition. Spacecraft is enrolled in the contract with CSA, and they have their CDR coming up and all that. So at least for the next 2 years, Spacecraft is 100% offhand when it comes to competitions. They're just working on this satellite, but it's still a really good opportunity. And for anybody that wants to get involved in the space industry, I believe Spacecraft gets the most students involved in working with the CSA, just due to the fact that they can literally say, I worked on your project already. So and then for Space Health doesn't do competitions. It's it's mostly research based, and they kind of like help other divisions with their work. So with Rocketry, they have a payload section, and it's not necessary for the Base 11 challenge to have a payload, but it just comes off very impressive to say, not only did we reach the Kármán line, but we also did this like microfluidic chip experiment at the same time. Yay. So yeah, Space Health is helping with that, as well as doing research. And overall, all of the different divisions kind of get together and once a year work on the IAC, which is the International Aeronautical Congress. And basically people submit their abstracts and their papers, and they get to present at IAC, and it's like an amazing opportunity to meet a bunch of people in industry, but also to get like your name out there in industry. And every year at least like 4 people end up presenting at IAC, so that's kind of like where most of us end up culminating in terms of events. But we also do like small things like MSSA, and which is the Montreal Student Space Association. Yeah.
For sure. Now, Space Concordia, it's amazing. It's super cool. Yeah, I think they wanted you to show like the QR code.
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up.
But space it's amazing. It really gives students the opportunity to be rocket engineers. Like I know, like you were saying that Spacecraft, you're working with the CSA. I know for the Rocketry as well, the student members, they're in contact with NASA engineers. So any students that really they want to pursue a degree in like rocketry, or even just like any type of spacecraft or aerospace, Space Concordia is amazing for that.
Yeah, like the other day when we were doing our CDR presentation, there was somebody from SpaceX that was there the full time that was giving feedback. And yeah, there's the NASA, there's a guy that like works for Pratt and Whitney, but he also built his own like engine, his own rocket engine, so he was giving feedback. So like especially when it comes to wanting to build contacts and like being able to get reinforcement from like legitimate sources, Space Concordia is a really good place if you want to get like industry experience without actually doing co-op.
Yeah. If anyone had any more questions, those are mine on my end, and thank you. You did a great job answering them.
My pleasure.
If you could post, I screenshotted this QR code and I put it in the Discord. I don't know if you're on it.
I am.
Elise? Yeah. So if you post any like relevant links, or if the students have any more questions, they can reach you there. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect. So if you have any other space related questions that you didn't get a chance to ask here, you can always do so on the Discord.
Perfect. So I guess if nobody has any questions for me, I would like to thank you guys for inviting us. Thank you. And yeah, I will be more than free to answer any and all questions. And I do I guess.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come prepare the presentation. I'm super hyped about space. I hope new students are as well. So again, thank you for that. And great job.
Thank you. I'll see you guys on Discord.